All right. Hi. Hello. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first time joining, thank you for listening. If it's not, then still thank you again for listening. Anyway, welcome to episode 2 of Thread and Thorn. I'm your host, Corday Arnson. Um, and yeah, let's get into it. Episode 2, Who Runs the World When Humans Are Snacks? An episode about zombie apocalypse and your pets. Um, Also, side note, I realized that when recording the last episode, I wasn't gonna cover over it, and I'm gonna cover over this episode a little bit. I'm gonna give you, a few photo references, but, you know, I might give you a shot of me. I don't know. So, getting into our episode. Alright, folks, picture this. It's 2025. Humans are not really human anymore. You know, the type slow, groaning, bitey zombies. And suddenly, every animal on the planet is looking at our abandoned cities and thinking, yeah, I want to live there. Today, we're diving deep into true winners of a Walking Dead style apocalypse, from your tiny apartment hamster to the apex predator that just moved into Times Square. We'll go city by city, critter by critter, and yes, we'll talk bugs too, because sometimes the smallest things save the world. Buckle up, this isn't just fun speculation, this is realistic ecology with a dash of zombie chaos. And yes, I don't care if it makes this episode long. Alright, let's get into big cities, because honestly, if humans suddenly die off or just like decrease, cities become the ultimate playground for feral animals. Cats, for example, New York, Chicago, Paris, Tokyo, you name it. Urban apartments, rooftops, alleyways, they're gonna explode in numbers. Why? 2 to 3 litters a year, 3 to 6 kittens per litter. And honestly, some cats have had way more. Like, if you know anything about cats, sometimes that 3 to 6 number, you'd be like, oh, there's an eighth one there. That's like exponential chaos. Picture New York rooftops crawling with cats, almost like a furry version of zombies, but, way cuter. Cats will also become semi-urban predators. They'll learn to avoid zombies, hunt rodents more aggressively, and even form loose colonies around food sources. Expect Brooklyn, Manhattan, Chicago, and London to be completely taken over by feral cats. Alright, we're gonna move on to dogs. Medium to large breeds would form packs in suburban areas. Think Chicago suburbs, Boston outskirts, Atlanta, like, places like that. Um, Small lap dogs, they're not so lucky, unfortunately. I mean, they could adapt to pack life, Um, but and they're capable of it. Like, let me tell you, my small dog, if he got outside, he was a farm, he was a rescue, but he was a farmer's dog, and so that yeah, no, he knows how to live on in the streets. But yeah, um, dogs with strong hunting instincts would thrive near abandoned parks or farmland. Alright, moving on to rats and mice. Honestly, they probably win more than we do in the zombie apocalypse because subways, sewers, basements, like all over, like literally everywhere is going to be crawling with them. Like anywhere there's food or a comfortable place to go, there's going to be rats and mice there. Um and Times Square Um, yeah, so that's not too great because rats carry a bunch of diseases and shit. I mean, not pet rats, okay, I will say. Pet rats honestly don't carry that many. I mean, you still have to veterinary care them and shit like that. But no, wild rats, that's where the diseases and bacteria come in. But yeah. Now moving on to pigeons and crows. Pigeons dominate cities like NYC, Hong Kong, Paris, places like that. Crows, their brains of operation, they will probably figure out how to scavenge zombie leftovers, maybe even steal a hat off a groaning zombie. Alright, now we're going to dig deeper into suburbs. Raccoons, opossums, and skunks immediately move in to places like Atlanta, Toronto, Seattle, suburban backyards and abandoned garages. Their buffet tables, honestly. They're sneaky, opportunistic, and smart enough to avoid zombies. Mostly. Raccoons in particular might learn how to open doors, raid fridges, and even avoid zombie traffic like mini masked bandits. Coyotes and foxes take over suburban streets and parks. Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, they'll expand quickly. Coyotes might even develop some kind of street smarts to dodge walkers. Foxes will hunt rabbits, birds, and even rats, forming new suburban predator-prey dynamics. Rabbits boom in open fields, abandoned parks, and farmland edges. Temperature regions, Midwest, France, Germany, they reproduce insanely fast. Ugh, fast. Within a few years, humans' absence basically gifts them the entire countryside. And other urban adapted animals like opossums might also expand using sewers and hidden crawl spaces to avoid zombies. Skunks could dominate corners of abandoned neighborhoods, and squirrels will swarm parks and backyards, capitalizing on leftover bird feeders. Outside cities, humans are gone, so nature reclaims everything fast. Deer, elk, and moose will dominate Midwest, Appalachian, Rockies, Canadian forests, European countrysides. They'll explode. Without hunting or traffic, their numbers spike. Overgrazing? Definitely, but they'll thrive. Expect expect them wandering into abandoned towns in Minnesota, Wisconsin, just casually grazing in parking lots. Wolves and foxes take over forests and even some suburban fringes. Alaska, Siberia, Scandinavia. Wolves may even occasionally brush against zombies, but given their pack strategy and smarts, they probably figure out humans are not worth the hassle. Bears move into abandoned towns near forests, Rockies, Appalachians, Eastern Europe, Siberia. They'll likely scavenge garbage piles and zombie leftovers, like unlimited opportunities. Other species, like wild goats in Mediterranean hills and Appalachian slopes, will also expand. Boars, pigs in forests and swamps in the south of the United States, Germany, and Poland. Birds of prey like hawks, eagles, and owls hunting the exploding rodent population. Alright, amphibians, reptiles, and creepy crawlies. This is where it gets a little gross, but science and fascinating. Frogs and toads boom in ponds and wetlands across the United States, Amazon basin, European marshes. No human poisoning the water, massive population explosion. Snakes Snakes thrive with exploding rodent populations. Rats in North America, pythons in Florida, cobras in India, urban snakes, yes, they're real now. Imagine a python chilling in your abandoned apartment hallway. Alright, now moving on to insects like cockroaches, beetles, ants, flies, mosquitoes. Every city, forest, and swamp, they're decomposers. They literally save the world by cleaning up zombie corpses and keeping the ecosystem from collapsing. Without them, disease spikes. With them, ecosystem slowly balances. Beetles and flies might also keep zombie hordes from piling up corpses in cities like New York, Paris, or Tokyo, acting like little apocalypse janitors. Pets and lab animals, don't forget them. Tropical cities like Miami, Singapore, Rio, they establish wild populations if climate allows. Burmese pythons in Florida are already proof that escaped pets can ruin ecosystems. But this is aka but in this case, it's like natural selection on steroids. Lab rodents like mice, rats, and guinea pigs explode in labs worldwide. Science experiments become feral. Mad science meets apocalypse reality TV. Even bats move into office towers, caves, and abandoned subways. Population boom because of insects, darkness, and lack of humans. And let's be real, your escape pet snake probably isn't plotting world domination, but it will eat a few rats and survive just fine. Now let's factor in walkers. Slow, groaning humans everywhere. How do animals react? Rodents, cats, foxes, and raccoons mostly ignore zombies, too small or smart to get bitten. Coyotes, wolves, and dogs might hunt or avoid zombies entirely. Zombies aren't prey, just obstacles. Herbivores like deer, rabbits, elk, and goats are probably indifferent. Zombies probably can eat them, but animals migrate into abandoned areas, so yeah. Hopefully not praying, but also this isn't real, so whatever. Bears and large predators, curious scavengers, they probably eat zombies. Um, but you know, I don't know, they might not risk it. Insects will probably eat the honestly, if we could get a large population of insects, it would probably save us from a zombie apocalypse if you could factor in and breed and raise a type of beetle that could eat zombies. Um, all right. I know it was a weird episode, and it's kind of out there. I know I fumble on my words, but I want to thank everybody that has listened or has just become a listener. And I would like you to please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Also I'm gonna leave a photo of my dog here. Also maybe I don't know, I might just leave a photo of all my pets here and just add a couple of minutes for you to view. But yeah, no, I want to thank you for joining this episode of Fred and Thorn. I'm your host, Corey Arnson, and I'm signing off.